Hello Chessbox Worldwide, we are bringing you an introduction that demands your attention because what you are about to witness joins the ranks of the immortals of chess history. Think Fischer's game of the century in 1956. Think Carlsen's World Championship clinching Queen Sacrifice in 2016. Now think KCB Open 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Chessbox Worldwide, the center of African chess. Today's future is a brutal round 4 clash from the 2025 KCB Open Chess Championship that saw Queen Sacrifice of spectacular historic proportions. We have the highly decorated Ugandan FIDE master FM Wanyama, the 3-time Olympian and the 2018 KCB Kenya Open champion, known for his aggressive tactical style. His resume is stacked with victories, and today he played like a king. Facing him, James Madol Panchol, a regional powerhouse known for his resilient endgame technique. He has crushed fields to win the Nairobi Championship, the Capablanca Cup, and the Zaba Saja Memorial. In a breathtaking sequence against Panchol, FM Wanyama has sacrificed his queen in a fantastical style, creating a dazzling combination that will be analyzed for years to come. This isn't just a game, it's a fight for regional bragging rights, a new chapter in the history of the Queen Sacrifice. Grab your snacks and hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and let's watch the sparks fly. In the white pieces, FIDE master Wanyama Haron opened the game with 1d4. The South Sudanese star James Madol Panchol opened with knight f6, c4, e6, and after g3, introducing us the Catalan opening, e5, bishop comes to g2, c6, knight f3. Panchol decides to grab the pawn. He plays d takes c4. Pawn f4 is highly expected, but Haron ignored and he played short castling. Knight comes to d7, queen comes to c2, Panchol played b5, maintaining the extra pawn. Haron played the best move in the position. He played b3, Panchol played knight b6. But however, pawn takes b3 should have been considered. For example, c takes b3, we could have seen queen takes c6, 2 black pawns are hanging, attacking the rook on a8. That's why we go ahead and play a sneaky move, that is pawn comes to b2, bishop takes pawn b2, rook b8. The queen was attacking the rook which was on a8, and remember now we are defending our pawn on b5. The rook's column is closed, and this position would say knight bd2, bishop coming to b7, bishop e7, plan to go for short castling, and this would be a playable game. But however, after b3, Panchol played knight b6, knight e4, opening up a double attack of the pawn which is on c6. Pawn takes b3, but right now it was too late. It was better to play knight d5, blocking the bishop. Pawn takes c4, knight takes c4, and after knight takes c4, pawn takes c4, queen takes c4, queen b6, defending the pawn on c6, and also trying to develop the bishop to hit on the queen and put a threat on the pawn which is on e2. And after knight c3, either queen coming to s6 would be played, or even the simple bishop can be played. All these are interesting continuations in the position. But however, after knight e5, Panchol played pawn takes b3, even queen takes c6 is a good move, but Haron played pawn takes b3, Madol went and played knight d5. But however, bishop d7 should have been considered. After knight takes d7, knight takes c6, a6, and the game could go on to be played. Remember, you can't take the rook on a8 because it is defended by the knight which is on b6. So in this position, after pawn takes b3, he played knight d5, trying to block the bishop's access to the pawn on c6. Queen takes c6 check, bishop d7, knight takes d7, queen takes d7. Haron played bishop takes d5, played pawn takes d5, and in this position, Haron took 30 minutes thinking about this position, and he recalled all the various queen sacrifices. Rook is putting an eye on the rook which is on a8, and in case of a queen sacrifice, the rook on a8 will be falling off, following up with the bishop checking win the bishop which is here on f8. And in this position, Haron played the impossible move. He played queen takes b6, knight on b6, fantastic move. And after pawn takes queen with rook takes a8 check, king goes up to e7, bishop a3 check, fantastic move. King f6 should have been considered. For example, after king f6, we could have seen rook takes f8, rook takes f8, and after bishop takes f8, queen g4, e3, h5, trying to create a pawn to enter in so that we can checkmate the white king, bishop b4, h4, knight bd2, taking control of the f3 square. Remember also the bishop is protecting knight on d2. Queen goes back to c8, queen coming into check, winning the pawn, and this would be a fighting position. But however, after bishop a3 check, he played king e6, rook takes f8, rook takes f8, bishop takes f8, and in this position, g5 should have been considered. For example, after g5, knight c3, we could even go ahead and play h5. But however, after bishop takes f8, Panchol played queen c8, intending to bring the queen on c2 and hit on the 2 pawns. Bishop takes g7, queen c2, bishop h6, queen takes b3, trying to create passed pawns. Knight d2, queen c3, attacking the pawn on b4, trying to create another second passed pawn. We play bishop e3, defending the pawn. b4, rook b1, stopping any further advancements because now we see the b3 square is defended by 2 pieces. King d7, trying to bring the king to support the pawns to be pushed. Rook b3, queen a1 check, king g2, queen f4, king f3, king c6, bishop g5, f6, sacrificing the pawn in order to get activity. Bishop takes f6, queen a7, trying to go ahead and pin the bishop and win it instantly. Bishop g5, queen g7, bishop e3 goes back, and after king b5, intending to bring the king so that the pawn can be pushed. King g2, g4, and in this position Harold played f3, hitting on the queen. Queen e6, hitting on the bishop, but remember the bishop has been protected by the rook on b3, and also the pawn is being obstructed by the bishop. g4, king f4, h3, h5, king g3, d6 check, f4, queen f6, we see rook b1, now we see queen e7, b3, queen c7 should have been considered. He played queen f6, f5, queen e7, g5, queen d7, f6, queen e6, bishop f4, queen takes e2, rook f3. Now we are intending to go ahead and push the passed pawn so that we can queen b3, and in this position he played f7, queen e7, g6, intending to bring the bishop on h6 and support the pawn to queen b2. We were threatened to go ahead and play queen e1 check, taking the knight on d2 and go ahead and queen. Harold stopped the idea and played bishop e3, blocking the queen from coming to e1. Queen d6 check, king h4, b1 into queen, knight takes b1, queen d8 check, takes h5, queen h8 check. After bishop h6, it was in this position, after move 50, that Panchol resigned the game. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck in your games.